What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Granit Xhaka is leaving Arsenal Football Club. Oh my days. After, 5 difficult years, he's tried his best, but it's not good enough, Listen, I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the commitment to the cause. But listen, we have to move on, man. This behind me here, History Channel settings. These are the midfielders I grew up on, man. I'm sorry, I'm not about to jump on some fan hype around Granit Xhaka. People acting like he's a club legend leaving the football club. I'm keeping it respectful and humble. But Granit, man, it's time. It's time to move on still, This is what I grew up on. These are kind of midfield donnies that I grew up on. I ain't about to celebrate, Granit Xhaka's legacy at the football club. That's why I started with that picture. You made Thierry Henry, man, had to walk out the house. You know what I'm saying? Man said, Patrice, I'm gone. You know what I mean? History Channel at its fullest, man. Daily history I'm presenting. Big up that guy, D. Man said, geez, come on, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I appreciate his effort, but come on, we need more than that. We need a lot more than that. Man said, get the ball into that. Come on, man. Who's got a beer, a cider? What we got, man? What we drinking? What we drinking? He's gone, man. I said, Curtis, happiest news would be Ek taking over this club and legends running things. Yeah, we're a long way off, man. Man said, bring the bottles out, man. Xhaka is a leg end more like. You know what I mean? Leg end, not legend. You know what I'm saying? Better than Vieira. Bro, I wasn't on social media that day. I came back late at night. I seen Beerman arguing Vieira and Xhaka. I said, that's got to be like a wind-up or something. That can't be real. Jeez, man's on his way out. Granit. When you say Granit Xhaka to me, the first thing I think of is him giving the ball away and then chasing after someone and getting sent off. That's my first thought. Xhaka, get him out of here, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your effort. There's the door. There's your passport. There's your tickets to Rome. Jose Mourinho will be waiting for you at the airport. Thank you for 5 years, 42 yellow cards, 3 red cards, a whole heap of mistakes. And the fact that we signed him ahead of N'Golo Kante. Thank you very much, Granit. Now do one, mate. Do one. Yeah? No more of that. We need to move onwards and upwards. I don't get all this love fest for Granit Xhaka. Let him go. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. If we do a highlight clip of Granit Xhaka, most of it's going to be him fouling someone. You know what I mean? 5 years to get him out, man. Jeez, it's took half a decade. Man told us to F off through the armband on the floor. It is what it is. Granit's on his way out, people. Granit is on his way out of the football club. And me personally, I'm sorry. I ain't about to lose sleep over it. I put out this tweet earlier. Man, we're getting triggered, bruv. I don't know what the problem is. Why is this guy so liked and respected? I don't get it. I was speaking facts here. Signed ahead of N'Golo Kante for 35 million. Fact. Most mistakes leading to goals in the Premier League since 2016. Big fact. You know what I mean? 45 yellow cards in 5 seasons. Jeez, bro. Do you know what I mean? 45 yellows in 5 seasons. Told the fans to F off and threw the armband on the floor. No Champions League qualification since he joined. Goodbye, Xhaka, and thank you, Mourinho, for buying him. Thank you very much, Jose. Yeah, that's the best thing you've done for Arsenal in a long time. You bought Granit, 17 million euros. 5-year contract has been agreed. He's on his way. And, I'm happy, people. I want to know how you guys are feeling. Is there anyone in here that is disappointed that he's going? Listen, let me be honest. Man said best rugby tackler in the team. Let's be honest. Granit's had... for him, a better season. For him. Do you know what I mean? I'm still not saying that's acceptable. I still believe that Xhaka's and El Nenis and Ceballos, they've made Thomas Partey's level drop, by playing with players who aren't as good. I've got to ask the question, Imran. Honestly, there's people on social media saying, thank you for your time and your effort. And, you're one of the most underrated players. Go on there. I promise you, there are big accounts bigging this guy up. I don't understand it. I'm disappointed because I don't think we can afford anyone good to replace him. I mean, surely we can. Good to watch a stream live midweek. Hope you're good, Curtis. Big up, Taz. And don't forget, everyone, go and check out the stream I did earlier with Saeed from Saeed TV. Brilliant stream. A lot of laughs, man. He's a funny guy, man. We had a great laugh earlier. Go and check that one out. But yeah, there are a lot of people bigging this guy up. I don't get where it comes from. Man said DT must be bottling his eyes out. Oh, dear me. If he can't handle a few Arsenal fans, wait till he gets the Italian ultras. Listen, the thing is, the fans, obviously what the fans were saying and doing on social media was completely out of order. I'll never advocate or defend that. You can criticize a player's footballing ability. You shouldn't personally attack the guy. I've got nothing against him on a personal level. I just don't think he's good enough. I really don't think he's good enough. I've never seen it. What people rate so much about him. He said some things in the past where I'm like, this guy actually thinks he's some sort of top baller. I don't get it. He speaks with chest like he's N'Golo Kante or like he's, Pogba or Bruno or De Bruyne. Like, he was scapegoated. Don't get me wrong. He was scapegoated. And this is the unfortunate thing about modern day football. Fans take it too far. You've seen it all with social media now. A lot of people saying 15.5 million is not enough. 17 million euros, 15.5 million. From what I've read, there isn't even any add-ons. Apparently, Arsenal wanted 20 million euros, but they agreed to lower the price. What I couldn't believe when reading into this is that Granit Xhaka earns just below £100,000 a week. So for me, this is I'm happy with this deal all the way round. Some people saying it's not a big enough fee. I'm all for it. Let the man go. I'll take that all day long. 15.5 million in a pandemic for a guy who's got 2 years left, for a guy who ultimately has failed over the 5 years. We haven't touched Champions League since he joined the football club. It ain't a coincidence because he's been our mainstay in the middle of midfield. He's been the main midfielder for those 5 years, and we failed. And midfield is a huge part of football. So Granit on his way out. Me personally, I'm not disappointed. 20 million euros daylight robbery. What, Roma are being robbed? Surely we're not being robbed. Good riddance to bad rubbish. I'd be happier with 15.5 plus £1. £2.50 really isn't enough. I would take a PS5 just to get rid. We've robbed Roma. Listen, I actually think Xhaka will do half decent in Italy. I've got to be honest. I said, but Curtis, you're negative. How dare you not rate him? He's our greatest midfielder ever. People were comparing him to this guy here. Patrick Vieira, World Cup winner, double winner, one of the best, if not the best centre midfielder to ever play for the football club. Look at this, Bartek. Man said, as a rival fan, I'd like to see him stay. That's how they feel about him, man. Yeah, people, be respectful in the chat. You know what I mean? Let's keep the community clean, man. He will ball out in Italy. I think he'll do all right. It's a slower league, slower tempo. Roma got a couple decent midfielders, Pellegrini and things like that. And listen, I think he'll do all right over there. But I'm personally happy that he's on his way out. Mourinho deserves a statue outside the Emirates Stadium. For all the pain he put us through over them years, beating us as Chelsea manager, finally does something that we can appreciate. People know, and I've had a lot of, constructive criticism, shall we say, that I was an advocate of Mourinho becoming the Arsenal manager when Unai Emery left the football club. He obviously went to Spurs and failed, which I've got no problem with that. But finally, he's done us something decent. He's gone and bought him. MDMA said, you was right, Curtis. Mourinho can improve us. Yeah, he has improved us, man. You know what I mean? He's took a player we needed to get rid of. Big up Ray Locks with the super chat. He said, Big C, so easy to call out Xhaka for all of his failings at Arsenal over the last 5 years. But I think the bulk of the blame lies with our owners. Look at Chelsea, for example. I mean, listen, yeah, I understand your point. It wasn't his choice, to be signed. If the club wanted to buy N'Golo Kante, they could have got the deal done. But they didn't. So in that sense, it's not his fault. I just don't think he's a good enough player. I don't understand why they've stuck with him for so long. And he's come across at times with a kind of arrogance, which I've never understood why he acts like that. I really don't, considering how bad he's been. Especially, though, we need to bring in at least 2 centre mids, especially if Partey is going African Nations Cup and El Neni. And obviously, this, I think, is why the club have maybe not moved for Basuma yet, because they're probably thinking El Neni, Partey and Basuma all go away for potentially 4 weeks in the middle of the season. That's probably why they're looking at others. Surely we can upgrade. Please get the right player. Who is that player that you want to see, people? Who do you want the club to get? Karas said, can you explain me, though, Curtis, why he was loved by all the managers we had? Well, I suppose naturally Wenger bought him, so he was always going to back him when he paid 35 million. Unai Emery, I mean, he wasn't backed enough. Look at the transfer window that he had. He wanted Fabinho, he wanted Thomas Partey, he wanted Nzonzi. They gave him Lucas Torreira and Dani Ceballos on loan. So I don't think he had the sufficient options to replace Granit Xhaka. And then Mikel Arteta, obviously he had an opportunity to move him on to Hertha Berlin. I think he just felt mid-season, I'm not going to get rid of him. But I was surprised he didn't move him on in the summer. But again, maybe a restricted budget made him stick by him. Who was a better midfielder, Xhaka or Arteta? That is a good question, because I got to be honest, I didn't rate Arteta either. I suppose all I would say is Arteta made less mistakes than Xhaka. But actually, at least Xhaka, oh man, I feel like Arteta but I didn't like him. I think Xhaka actually has got more about him than Arteta, but he just made more mistakes than Arteta. They're both as bad as each other, I got to be honest. I think when Xhaka's good, as strange as this is, when Xhaka's good, he's really good, but he's not really good very often. Where Arteta was just average kind of all the time. So they're both pretty poor, I got to be honest. Xhaka was better than Arteta. Arteta was better. Sabitzer, I mean, they're saying Sabitzer could be available for as little as 15 million. Arsenal should be all over that. Arteta played with better players, yeah, and he didn't really do much. Obviously, we replaced him. He was the replacement for Cesc Fabregas, so I was always disappointed with that one. As you can see here, Chris Wheatley said, Granit Xhaka has agreed a 5-year contract with Roma. The fee is expected to be in the region of 18 to 20 million euros. He'll become a Roma player very soon, and it's believed that he could be the deal could be completed before Saturday, when Switzerland play their first game in the Euros. And Jose Mourinho is actually on TalkSport tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. when I'm sure they'll be asking him questions about Granit Xhaka. Xhaka did an interview today in the Swiss training camp, and he was asked about potentially moving, and he refused to answer any question to do with his own future, which usually gives you an indication that the player is on their way. Yeah, smash a like on the video and subscribe, people. Thank you for your brilliant support. What wages will he be on? I mean, listen, if he's on nearly 100 grand a week at Arsenal, he's going to get the same or maybe even more. I think it's a risky deal at the same time for Roma to give him 5 years. He's 28 years of age. I suppose the only thing, his game is definitely not built around pace. So he's probably one of those players that his game won't necessarily decline into his early 30s. Man said, bro, the eclipse was a good sign. Very fortuitous for Arsenal. I didn't even see the eclipse, but yeah, it must have been a good sign. 70k a week for Sabitzer, just double it. Yeah, I would love to get him. I think he's a quality player. What if Arteta begs him to stay? I think he actually wants him out this time, so I think we will see the back of him. Xhaka did not deserve to play for Arsenal after he threw the captain's armband on the floor. That day he was supposed to be exiled, because why allow Guendouzi, Saliba to leave? Xhaka done much worse. I agree with that. I remember doing an interview the day that Xhaka did that. And I said at the time, he should never play for Arsenal again. That's just pure disrespect. To throw the armband on the floor and stick your finger up at the fans. He should have never played for the football club ever again. Winfred said, Curtis, if your guy Jose was here, he would be giving Xhaka a new contract. Good point. Never wanted Jose in the first place. He's the first to ever do that and get away with it as well. Richard said, big up Big C. Any expats conflicted about watching the boys in Orlando due to the Kroenke out movement. I ain't seen the boys live since the Highbury days. That's what I mean. It's great that Arsenal are going over there. Listen, I've still got hopes of getting over there myself for that tour. I'm just looking into the details and whether it's possible for people from the UK to travel to America at the moment. Why did Arteta play Xhaka at left back when Cedric was available? To this day, I don't understand why he did that. I do not understand. He had a fullback who's more than capable of playing at left back. But again, I genuinely believe he copies Pep Guardiola. Pep played a midfielder in Fabian Delph, a midfielder in Zinchenko at left back. And I think he just follows fashion sometimes with Pep. Was you meant to do 2 shows today? Yeah, I did one earlier at 2:15 with Saeed. Go and check that one out after a really funny show. We were looking at Arsenal and Manchester United and the decline of the 2 giants of English football. Back in the day, that was the biggest game in the Premier League. And listen, I suppose our decline has been far worse than theirs. That's the only thing. But it was a great show, really funny as well. Get a protest done in pre-season. That definitely needs to happen. And other things as well. I think it will take more than a protest. The mood at the Emirates can be so toxic. Remember when Abu had to be subbed off right after coming on? They're human beings. Listen, I've always said there should be no personal attack on a player. Constructive criticism and talking about how a player has performed, that's fine. Granit Xhaka received personal abuse online, and to his family, it was disgusting. At that point, you're not a football fan, But, I listen, I've bantered a lot of these players, Eddie and Nketiah and all these guys, but you've never heard me swear and personally attack these players. It's nothing beyond banter, to be honest. All constructive criticism. Tim said you can't fly to the US at the moment as a UK tourist, though they are talking about a US-UK flight agreement. Okay. Faz said, great show, renewed the season ticket. I feel dirty. No, listen, at the end of the day, if you don't buy it, someone else is buying it, right? Straight away. I think with the shirts, that's different. We can affect the shirt sales. I heard that Arsenal have got nearly 20,000 fans on the waiting list for season tickets. This 20,000 people, the day you cancel your season ticket, someone's getting a phone call and they're buying it. That seat will not be empty. The only way to leave a seat empty is by you actually buying the season ticket and deciding not to go some games or walking out during a game. So, listen, you love football. You want to support your team. People love the banter and meeting their friends at football. Listen, I'll still be going to watch Arsenal this season. So, don't worry about it, man. We love the club at the end of the day. Big up Roll Right. Thank you very much for the super chat. Said Chelsea are lining up Haaland and Hakimi whilst we get outbid for a championship midfielder by Aston Villa and sign Eddie up to a new deal. We're getting left in the dust. I mean, I am going to talk about that Eddie and Nketiah story shortly. I'll probably go straight to it now, actually. To get through a few more comments. Big up Mr. Modo. He said, what is Granit Xhaka's position? He's unable to complete a clean tackle, accident prone and not dynamic. Slow decision maker, lacks pace, most likely to be pressed. 100% facts, not trying to hate on him. This is what I said. It's not even a hating thing. It's just being honest. Granit Xhaka is classed as a guy who is a deep line playmaker who is quite aggressive, who can, you hope he can win the ball back. So you want him to start attacks, play the ball through the lines, get the ball to your number 10, to your wingers, to your striker, and break up play. The problem with Xhaka, he lacks mobility. He's very slow at running. So often when he puts a tackle in, it's mistimed. He gets yellow cards, gets red cards. And on the ball, he doesn't see the picture quick enough. He doesn't move the ball quick enough. And the Premier League is the most, probably the fastest tempo league in Europe. So I know what his job is supposed to do, and at times he does it, but he doesn't do it consistent enough. That's the problem. So, yeah, Xhaka for me. I think the Italian league will suit his game a lot better. I've got to be honest. I think he will suit the slower game. Big up MA with a super sticker as well. Thank you very much for that. Static said, Curtis, yeah, that is true. When you tell your own fans to F off at home, it's beyond unacceptable. Good riddance to Xhaka. I wouldn't abuse him online at all, but he still needs to go. Yeah, listen, he had no right to say that day, and I don't believe he should have played for the football club again after that. So, yeah, I think it's time for everybody to move on from that. Man said Man cost us the Champions League too. I mean, it's hard to say just him. I think there's a lot of players. Man said thinks he's Pirlo. Let's have a look at... let's just finish off this Granit Xhaka story before we move on. A lot of people ask this when I talk about the Granit Xhaka and N'Golo Kante situation. How Arsenal had the option to buy him. And I heard this a long time ago. It's public knowledge. Arsenal had N'Golo Kante, their deal to be done. It was ready to go. I just want to show you these quotes here. Kante picked up man of the match in both semi-finals and the final. These quotes I found fascinating, especially the first one, because the first one is from Arsene Wenger, the manager that actually decided not to buy him in place of Granit Xhaka. So it's kind of a bit ironic. If there were any doubts about just how good the midfielder is, they were put to bed with a vintage performance on the biggest stage. That's in reference to N'Golo Kante. Arsene Wenger said, "We have seen a man who is above everybody else," when asked about N'Golo Kante. Jamie Carragher then went on to say, "This guy will be spoken about as one of the greatest players we've seen in the Premier League." I mean, that is huge compliment. And Joe Cole, who has, of course, played with Claude Makelele, and often people compare Makelele to Kante. Joe Cole said, "I played with Makelele, who I thought was the best in that position, until I saw Kante." And I have to agree with that. I think Kante is like the evolution of Claude Makelele. Makelele didn't get around the pitch as much as Kante, and I think Kante is like the modern day version of him. And what was interesting, obviously here, Chelsea paid 32 million for him. But you look at these quotes here. The former transfer negotiator said, he told The Athletic that a move for Kante was on the table until they pulled the plug because of agents' fees involved. Typical Arsenal cheapskates. Discussing the Kante deal, Law said, "When things reached an extreme, we tended to back away. An investigation by Football Leaks detailed how the two agents involved in setting up Kante's transfer pocketed a combined total of 10.6 million. I mean, crazy. Typical Arsenal. When things get extreme, we walk away. Where has that got you over time, you know? You bought Granit Xhaka for 35 million. You're selling him for 15 million. So you've lost the club 20 million pounds. So it shows, you know, you buy cheap, you buy twice. Now we've got to go again. When Xhaka could have been the CDM for a number of years, but, you know, 5 years at the club hasn't been the answer. Now we've got to go again. You look at the level that N'Golo Kante has been at since he went to Chelsea and even when he was at Leicester. How did they not get that deal done, you know? Wenger has a lot to answer for. Yeah, because you got to look at, and Jimbo, Kante costs 32 million and 10 million in agent's fee. So you're looking at 42 million with the agent fee. Granit Xhaka costs 35. I'm sure his agent would have got 3 or 4 million as well. So let's say Xhaka's cost 4 million less than Kante. Do you know what I mean? Weigh that up. This guy's being talked about as a Ballon d'Or winner, N'Golo Kante. You know, I don't know what Granit Xhaka, you know, balloon winner, not Ballon d'Or winner, balloon winner. You know what I mean? I don't know what he's going to get. 7 million agent fee, Tom says, you know? So I don't know. It's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. But yeah. Dinner Shen said, "What is your opinion on Haaland and Hakimi?" I think Hakimi is a brilliant player. I think he's more of a wing back. More of a wing back than a right back, but that would suit Chelsea because, of course, Thomas Tuchel plays, or Tuchel, however you pronounce it. He plays with 3 at the back with 2 wing backs, so he'd be ideal for Chelsea. I think Hakim is a brilliant wing back. And Haaland, I've always said that I think Haaland is overpriced at 150 million. I think I don't think he's worth that kind of money. But because of his age, because there's so few top strikers, if Chelsea get him, it's a problem. If they get those 2, it's a big problem. You're right, they don't even need Hakimi. They got Reece James, they got Azpilicueta. They don't need him at all. But there's rumours that Reece James is going to be converted to a right-sided centre-back with Hakimi at wing-back, which is that's just greedy, isn't it? Yeah, balloon winner, man. Not a Ballon d'Or winner. Man's a balloon winner, fam. You know what I mean? Not even Kante could have lifted this team to glory. Maybe not, but he would have helped. That's for certain. Listen, we got over 1,000 watching now, actually. So make sure you smash a like on the video. We've been hitting 1,000 likes every day. Unbelievable support on the channel. Really appreciate all your support. Can we hit 1,000 likes again? And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribed. As I said yesterday as well, link in the description below for the Euros, the Fantasy League. Link is there. The code is there. Just click on the link. Make your team. I think you get 100 million. Add it to my league, and we'll have some fun. We're, throughout the Euros, we'll show who's top, who's bottom of the league. Bit of banter. Join in. I think we've got over 150 people in there already, people. So get joined in with that as well. Kareem said, Curtis, great channel. I'd be happy with Xhaka, Bellerin, and Nketiah, Willian all out. Place Saliba, Martinelli, Aziz, Balogun, and buy Basuma, a right back, and a cam. Listen, sounds very simple. Everything you say there makes sense. I'd be happy with Xhaka, Bellerin, and Nketiah, Willian all out. Give Saliba a chance. All of them guys. But Arsenal, when things make sense, they tend to just move away from that. Arsenal don't seem to have too much common sense, unfortunately. But Kareem, thank you very much for your super chat. Mo7 said, unbelievable content. So big up Big C, big up Mo7. The Gooner said, Xhaka became a leader because his mum gave him the car keys. Remember when he said that? Yeah, he got the keys at a young age. So that made him the leader that he is. I mean, not a very good leader. I think he was putting the front door key in the windows or something. He was using the wrong key. He definitely couldn't open the door. Kyle said, keep up the great streams, Curtis. Wish we never left Highbury. I don't go to the Emirates half as much. Yeah, listen, it was unfortunate. There were a lot of stories saying that Arsenal were on the verge of going bankrupt if they never left Highbury. So I don't think we had a choice. A 38,000-seater stadium was not enough for a club the size of Arsenal. Could they have built on top of it and made it bigger the way that Liverpool have done with Anfield? I don't know. Maybe it was cheaper to build a new stadium. I really don't know. But something has definitely been missing from the football club since we left Highbury, man. Highbury was a fortress, I feel like, close to the pitch. We made life difficult for the opposition. Teams just come to the Emirates and enjoy themselves, man. I've seen it too much, Marboy said, you deserve it, Big C. Your content is the best and entertaining. Thank you very much, bruv. Curtis, your views on Chelsea's title chances if they get Haaland and Hakimi? I think they'll be one of 3 title favourites. But, that gives them a much bigger opportunity because City have still got to be classed as favourites. They ran away with the league. I think Liverpool will be right back up there next year with Van Dijk and Gomez back and Konate, who they've signed as well. But if Chelsea get Haaland, that's probably the missing piece is the striker. If he converts them chances that Timo Werner was missing, I think they'll be back in business. We need that Highbury energy back for real, man. Man said he lost possession and gave the house keys to the robber. Granit Xhaka, man. More than likely, he lost the keys on the way home and had to, break into his own house. One bit of good news for Arsenal. Finally, I say one bit. The Granit Xhaka bit was good news in my opinion, but potentially a new signing could be on his way to the football club. If any of you guys have watched this guy a little bit more, give me your opinions. I've seen him a few times, but I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on him. Andre Onana. Oh, no. What's my name? Yeah, I know. I can't help it. Andre Onana has had his suspension because of a violation of doping rules reduced from 12 months to 9 months. Onana's suspension will now end on the 4th of November this year, and he will be allowed to restart training on the 4th of September. So he'll be gone to November, man. Wycliffe Jean settings. If you know about that song, you know, man. But they expected him to be out till January, which I think was going to scupper any chance of a move. But I think with him being out till November, the club could take a chance on him for that. My one worry with this deal is, well, yeah, you know what? You've made a good point here. My two worries about this deal. Number one, if we sign him, he goes to the African Nations Cup for maybe 4 weeks in January. Are we buying him to replace Leno, or are we buying him to battle out for the number one spot with Leno? Now, everything I'm reading is that Leno's going to leave if we buy him. We're signing him simply to be number one. But then if he's out for November, what do you do with Leno? Do you keep Leno until January? Do you keep Leno until the end of the season? How are they going to do that? What do you do with Matt Ryan? This guy is the number one goalkeeper for Ajax. Surely he's not going to lose the opportunity of being a number one keeper at Ajax, who are in Europe, to come to Arsenal and, you know, and wait to get an opportunity in the team. I don't know how it's going to work. Amsterdam, Thailand said, watching Ajax all my life, he's the best goalkeeper they've had since Van der Sar. That is huge praise. When I've watched him, fantastic with his feet. You know, really good ball playing centre back, great reflexes. I think one thing he needs to deal with is his ability to come for crosses. I think that's something he can work on, but far better ball playing goalkeeper than Leno. What I would do personally, I would probably listen. If he comes in, he's coming to be first choice. I would sign Matt Ryan and sell Leno. So I would get Matt Ryan, get Onana, hope that Matt Ryan doesn't get an injury between the start of the season and November. But then you've only got Renarsson in the background. It's risky. We may have to keep Leno until January and then get rid of him in January. We probably can't afford to take the risk of going with one proper goalkeeper until November, because it'd be just Arsenal's luck that you know, you'd probably see Matt Ryan pull his hamstring or something in the first game. But no, listen, I think that Leno will probably go this summer because he's got 2 years left on his contract. He's in the German squad. He probably has some sort of value at the moment. If you keep him till next season when he's got a year left, how much is Leno going to be worth with a year left on his contract? It's a difficult one. They're going to have a dilemma there on their hands, because although the ban has been reduced and I'm happy, they're saying that Arsenal could get him for as little as 7 million euros, which I think is about £5 million, due to the fact that Onana is out of contract next summer. And Arsenal, in theory, could sign him on a free transfer in January to join at the end of the season. So I think Ajax have said, listen, rather than letting him go for nothing, sell him now, get 7 million euros for him, and you know, let's move him on. Sell Leno for 25 million, invest in Matt Ryan. Yeah, I would have no problem with that. But would you take the risk of Matt Ryan and then only having Renarsson as backup until the 4th of November when Onana would be available? You know, what would you do on that? Similar ball handling to Leno needs to settle. Onana is a class player, is good on the ball, and carried Ajax almost to the Champions League final. Greetings from the Netherlands. Big up to Football Shorts for your insight. Like I said, if any of you guys have watched a little bit of him, let me know, because I've only seen him a few times, to be honest. So I've seen that he is very good on the ball, and looks like an upgrade on Leno, in my opinion. Big ol' MA said he thoughts on Paul Onuachu to replace Lacroix. Plays for Genk, 6'7", with 34 league goals, and being named Belgium League Player of the Season. Do you know what? I've seen his name a few times popped up, and I saw that they said he's like a giant striker. But he is 27. Would Arsenal go for him? I mean, we haven't been linked with him at all. Like you said, 33 goals this year. It's a bit of his breakout season. Year before, he only got 9. Listen, makes sense. We do need someone who's big, good in the air. We put a lot of crosses in, but, you know, let's see. I haven't heard any links to him. Curtis, how much do you think Leno is worth? For me, 25 million all day long. One of the German goalkeepers in the Euros, although I doubt he'll play, to be honest, with Neuer in goal. But he plays for Arsenal. He's still in his 20s. He's quite a reasonably big name now in European football. Maybe even 30 million. It depends what club really come in for Leno. How much do you guys think that Bernd Leno is worth? What would you actually accept for Leno with 2 years left on his deal? Get 30? Yeah, I'm thinking because Martinez went for 20. And Martinez had only really been in goal for Arsenal for 3 months. Leno's got a bigger reputation, so surely he should be going for 30. Michael said 5p. Get Donnarumma on loan. Someone saying he's on his way to PSG. Polymation said 25. The Gooner says 20. Shiv says 20. Herb said 25 to 30. I think it would be between 20. I think around 25 you'd be looking at, if I'm honest. Because we're just so bad at selling players, we probably wouldn't get the 30 that he's worth. But he's definitely not worth 20. We should be getting more than that. Yeah, Martinez is better. But what I'm saying, at that time, Martinez's reputation was not that big. He wasn't in the Argentina squad. He'd only been in the Arsenal team for 3 months. He nearly joined Reading for, I think they were saying £2 million in the January before. They didn't sell him. They kept him. He finished the season well, and we got 20 million quid for him. I think Leno's got a bigger reputation than what Emmy had at that time. Brett said we'll get 20 knowing how bad we negotiate. Yeah, we probably will. But for me, 20 is too cheap for Leno. 25 is the minimum that I would be accepting for Bernd Leno. So looks like Onana's gonna join Arsenal. What are your guys' thoughts on that? And what would you do with Bernd Leno? Would you keep him for a year to battle? Fans undervaluing players need to get out. Listen, I think sometimes it's not always about what a player's worth. It's kind of about it's supply and demand almost, isn't it? We've got a goalkeeper that we want to replace. He's got 2 years left on his deal. Everyone in Europe knows that we need money because they know we're not in Europe. We're not going to have big money. So if a guy's worth 30, a club's going to offer you 20 or 18 and then negotiate and get him for 21, 22. That's just how negotiation works. You know, if a guy's selling a car for 10 grand and you know he's absolutely skint, you might offer him 7 grand or 6 grand, you know, and then you get it done for 7.5, 8 grand, you know. Curtis, any news on us getting a right back? Not really at the moment. Not too much. We are being linked with a player from RB Leipzig who can play at right back. I forget what his name was. Tyler Adams, is it? I think he's an American player. Let me just get that up, but I'll show you guys. I did see Arsenal are being linked with him. Certainly wouldn't be the answer for me. I got to be honest. Let me get this up for you guys so you can see the story as well. So here it is. According to The Athletic, we're usually a fairly reasonable source of info. Said, according to The Athletic, Arsenal are keen on Leipzig's 22-year-old US international Tyler Adams. One of the appealing factors is that he can play both as a right back and a central midfielder, which makes him a good fit for Arteta's inverted system on the flank. I mean, listen, I want to ask a few things, right? Because I'm sure I've seen this guy play before, and I'm sure he's a midfielder. So he's like a midfielder who can play at fullback. I could be wrong. Is he not just an American Ainsley Maitland-Niles? I mean, listen, I might be doing him a real disservice here, and you guys might tell me he's a lot better than that. Yeah, someone's just said it there. Sounds like Ainsley. Centre mid who can do a job at right back. Why would we actually go and spend money on a player that's effectively the same? And this is what I say again. Arsenal bargain hunting. They should be shopping in the big boy shops, you know, Harrods and them shops. But they're in TK Maxx on the sale rack. Oh, rather than buying a midfielder and a right back, which we need both, we'll buy this guy who can play in midfield and at right back. So we'll tell everyone We don't need to buy a right back because we've signed a midfielder who can play at right back. It's all Arsenal again. Yeah, it's all Arsenal again. We do not need to buy this guy. I've seen him a few times. He does look decent. But what's the point? Joel said, I'm an American and he is Maitland-Niles, basically. Doesn't make any sense. Arsenal are so cheap. We've all seen the TK Maxx sale rack, man, with them red stickers on. You just hope that you find it in your size, but most of the time it's a small or an extra large. It don't fit. You know what I mean? Buy one, get one free settings. Arsenal always trying to cut corners, man. Stop doing it. Buy the midfielder to replace Xhaka that we need. Get the Basuma or whatever and get the right back. Get Max Aarons, get Lamptey. Go and get the guy from Lille that was linked with the other day. But Arsenal, cheap as chips, mate. Always trying to cut corners. Ben said, Curtis, we should be targeting Mukiele. I always get this guy's name wrong. I know who you're talking about. Apparently he's available cheap as well. I don't know why. But he looks a good player. Why don't we get Basuma? Omar, it's too obvious. It's too obvious, bro. Anything that's obvious, Arsenal won't do it. Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's obvious we could do with Basuma, so they'll go and buy Ruben Neves, or they'll go and get, Tyler Adams to be the right back and centre mid. Why no talk around Max Aarons' damaged relations with Norwich? Possibly, They might be sitting there thinking, you lot are jokers, man. Look at the way you tried to get Buendia. Don't bother coming back, offering us silly offers and paid over all these years. Michael said, Curtis, Tyler Adams extremely injury prone. See what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Ainsley's probably on this guy's level. You know what I mean? Doesn't make no sense. Arsenal shopping in Mr. Byright. Well, do you know what? The next story made me laugh this morning. You guys will know why. Once you see the story. As someone said in the comments earlier, Eddie Nketiah. Now, this story is I find this story hilarious. For two reasons. I find this story hilarious. Number one, Arsenal offering Eddie Nketiah a new contract, right? That's my first issue. But then what makes this story even worse, to Mr. Call Me, Mr. Mobile Phone, celebrating in front of an empty stadium, is, well, let me read it out. The Athletic, again, are stating, Eddie Nketiah has been offered a new contract, believed to be 3 years as well, by the way. 3 more years of Eddie. I mean, make it make sense, people, right? However, he is unlikely to sign it with a club where his future remains unclear. There are interested parties in the Premier League and abroad. Should the 22-year-old striker refuse the offer, he will probably be sold. I mean, listen, I need answers. I need an explanation. First of all, why are we offering him a new contract? What has he done to justify getting a 3-year contract at Arsenal Football Club? He has not shown that he is good enough to be at this level. He's got a year left on his contract, right? He could, look, they're saying here this Premier League club's interested in him. Let Eddie go to a Premier League club. Go to a lower club in the Premier League. Let him get game time and figure out, his game and get experience in the Premier League. Yeah, Omar, this is the story they're spinning. Oh, we're giving him a new 3-year deal to protect his value. I mean, behave yourself. To me, he's not worth any more with a 3-year deal than a 1-year deal, Eddie Nketiah. He hasn't proved that much. He's not going to be worth big money. The fact that he is an England under 21, like record goal scorer or whatever like that, gives him a little bit of hype, and he's at Arsenal and he's young. What I find crazier about this deal is he's actually going to reject us. It's crazy that we're even making him the offer. He should be snapping that up with both hands like, oh my days. I've basically not done much this season and they're giving me a 3-year contract. He should have signed that as soon as that was talked about. He's actually turning around going, nah, I'm not staying here. You lot are a mess. He's on the phone, you know what I mean, to his agent saying, get me out of it. Unbelievable. What are your thoughts on this, people? I mean, listen, they're spilling the whole story of we're protecting his value. We'll get more money if he's on a 3-year contract. I don't think we will. I think that only matters when you've got a prized asset. When you've got a player that a lot of players want and he's got a year left and you give him a 3-year deal, yeah, now his value's gone up because a lot of clubs want him. So you can say, right, 3 years, you've got to pay more. I don't think clubs are banging down the door to get Eddie. There's just probably 1 or 2 clubs. He was being linked with Brighton. I can't see those clubs paying big, big money for him. Realistically, let me know in the comments, how much do you think Arsenal could get for Eddie Nketiah? With a year left at the moment, or even with 3 years on his deal, if he signed a new deal. He's 22. How much do you think Eddie would go for? Brandon saying, Big C, when is Arsenal therapy? Even when the season is finished, but the club's still killing me. Get Max Aarons, Basuma, and a striker, and Neves. I mean, listen, we can hope and dream, but I don't see the club buying a striker or Basuma or Neves. I think they'll only buy one. Herb says 20. Tom said 3 million. Josh said 15 million. Sheffield United compare him up with Brewster. I mean, they got, what, 23 million for Brewster? 3 million, 20 million. We're kind of, there's no middle ground here. Some people saying 20 million pound, which to me seems excessive for him with a year left. But he's obviously got to be worth more than 3 million pound. He said, big up my favorite YouTuber. Thank you very much, bruv. 7.5 for Eddie. 2 camels and a goat. He's worth a flip phone. £4 and a sandwich. Tesco meal deal settings here. 9 mil at best. I got to be honest, I'd say 10 to 15. This is the one for me. I don't think we'll get 20 million for him. I don't think there'll be enough demand for him. I don't think the clubs that are big enough to pay big, big money like that. If it's Brighton, I don't see Brighton dropping £20 million on Eddie Nketiah with a year left. Do you know what I mean? £4.59. Nokia 3310. 4 Freddos. Do you know what? Freddos are about £1 each now, aren't they? With all this stuff that's gone up. How do I enter the fantasy code? I've put the link in the description. I think if you just click on the link, it should just take you straight there without even having to put the code in. But the code is below that in the description as well, if you have to put that. But most people have said they didn't even have to put the code in. 10 million and £1. Bag of potatoes. 40 acres and a mule. 12.5 million. Only Arsenal would pay 20 for Eddie. Yeah, for real. He's worth a Tesco meal deal. Lebobski said you don't need the code. KFC tower meal. I mean, I'd probably rather have the KFC meal, to be fair. Transfer market says 15, so to be fair, 10 to 12. Yeah, I think you're looking around 10 to 15 mil. Anywhere around there, I think Arsenal would have done half decent, you know. Like I said, players that come through the youth system, they're not all brought through to make it into the first team. Sometimes, if you can move them on, then you could, you know, there's every chance that you can go again. You know, not every player that comes through is brought through to actually play for the team. So for me, if you get 14, 15 million for Eddie, I think that's the youth team doing its job. And so the chat are disrespecting Eddie. Nah, man. Omar, you was calling Aubameyang all sorts earlier in the season. So Eddie can, you know, it's banter with Eddie, man. He's just a guy with banter, unfortunately, you know. 2 million 10p, you know. I'm not disrespecting him to them levels. 1,300 of you in here, people. Smash a like. Can we hit 1,000 likes for like the 7th day in a row? You know, the likes have been immense. Really appreciate all your support, and subscribe if you haven't already as well. I found this interesting. I just wanted to share this with you. Listen, it's not going to happen. We know this, but I've just, you know, I thought it was interesting. Antonio Conte did his first interview since turning down the Spurs job. And he said some interesting things. You know, he said, money is not my obsession. I look at projects and I'm ready to stay at home if they don't convince me. I like difficult challenges, but if there is something that does not convince me, I prefer to say no thanks. Some people squeeze every last drop out of their players, leaving behind top players that have given everything and have nothing left in the tank. That is interesting. I mean, that sounds a bit like as well that he's firing shots at Jose, I would say, in that last one. Some players squeeze every last drop out of their players, leaving behind top players that have given everything. But I found it interesting. He said, I look at projects. I like difficult challenges. There's no bigger project or bigger challenge than Arsenal. I mean, listen, the manager that finally turns around Arsenal, whoever that may be, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Arteta, but I do actually hope it is Arteta, because I always say whoever's in charge of Arsenal, I hope they can do the best. I'm not that bothered who the manager of Arsenal is if they can produce quality football and get us up the league. Can you imagine if a Conte or someone like that came into Arsenal and turned us around? He had a big job at Inter Milan. Nobody thought they could overturn Juventus, and he's done it within 2 years. So listen, we'll have to see on that one. But I'm just shocked that nobody, apart from Tottenham, has made a move on this guy. And the thing that worries me about this, in my head, looking ahead to the current season, and listen, I might be wrong, might be completely wrong, but I think Arteta will struggle to finish the season as Arsenal manager. I really do, because I think the first bad run that he runs into, with the fans back in the stadium, they'll say, that's it, we've had enough. They'll be going absolutely mad in the Emirates. They'll want him out, and the club will have to get rid of him. By that time, Antonio Conte, if United have a slow start to the season and Solskjaer gets sacked, Conte's gone. You then start to think mid-season, when your Ancelotti's moved, Nuno's moved, and people like that. Well, Nuno actually turned down the Palace job. But what I'm saying is, you're more likely to have better managers available at this stage than you are midway through a season. At the moment, you've got Conte and Zidane. Now, Zidane said he wants time out of work, so he's not really available. But Antonio Conte, I mean, listen, I just think we're making a huge mistake not going for this guy now. He's actually telling you. He's making it known, because a lot of people have probably said in the past, Conte wouldn't take the Arsenal job. He's letting you know there. Money's not my obsession. I look at projects. I like difficult challenges. Arsenal tick all them boxes, because we ain't going to give you the money. It is a project, a very big project, and it is one heck of a difficult challenge. The problem is, like most people are saying, could he work under the ownership of Stan Kroenke? It's almost, you just can't see it working. It's not a match. It doesn't seem like those two would go together and really work. So it's unfortunate. But I'm such a big fan of this guy as a manager. People know that I was talking about Mourinho before. I actually would want Conte way more than him, because I feel Conte's in his prime right now. Mourinho was still past his best, in my opinion, even though I still think he could have done a job. But Conte, for me, man. But yeah, listen, it's unlikely, I'm just saying, the things he's saying there, they tick boxes with Arsenal. Project, difficult, money, not a lot of it. We're definitely that, but hey, it is what it is, people. Everton top 6 next season if they get Rafa. I don't know. I think Ancelotti, he was a fantastic manager, and he couldn't get Everton into the top 6. And obviously he moved on to Real Madrid. Rafa, the thing with Rafa, he's ex-Liverpool. If he has a little bad run at Everton, that will come to the forefront. And I'm not sure the Everton fans will embrace Rafa Benitez in the same way that they would have probably embraced Carlo Ancelotti. Obviously, they saw him for a little bit, but before the pandemic. So, no, for me, I don't think that Rafa does guarantee Everton top 6, because I actually think Ancelotti is a better manager than him. Yeah, subscribe if you're new, people. The community is lit. We're having a great time right now. Great streams, daily streams, loads of people coming on. I've got guests lined up. We got all sorts coming on. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll be doing a watch-along from 7:30. Italy against Turkey, first game of the Euros. I'll be doing a show tomorrow at 2 p.m. with Forever Football with Francis Green. We will be previewing the Euros. So the first maybe 15, 20 minutes will be the usual Arsenal update, whatever's happened in the news. Then we're going to do like a 1 hour Euros preview. We're going to look at, the groups, who's going to be player of the tournament, who's the dark horses who could sneakily win it, who's going to be the top goal scorer, all those kinds of things. And, we'll be delving deep into the Euros as we get underway tomorrow. We're going to have, 2 or 3 games a day on television. What a relief, because it's too quiet at the moment. Arsenal FC, a.k.a. Banter. Bro, we are moving like that, and you're not even lying. Curtis, the best thing to have is a manager from a rival. If he does good, it's nice. If he does bad, it's easy to turn on him. Well, that's the thing, though. If he does bad, they don't often get the time to fix it. That's the problem. Yeah, as I said, I'll be on at 7:30 tomorrow. The game kicks off at 8. Let's kick off the Euros, and obviously I'll be doing an England watch-along on Sunday. Is it coming home, people? We will be discussing it tomorrow. I will also be picking, with Francis Green, we'll be picking our England starting 11. I picked an England starting 11 the other week. And I've seen some performances lately that have worried me, and a couple of players who I put in that team are not available. So I'll have to change it. So, yeah. Looking forward to that. Sancho bid turned down. Yeah, apparently 75 million euros rejected from Manchester United for Sancho. As I said, Saeed earlier, don't forget to check that video out if you haven't already as well, that I did earlier at 2 p.m. I think United will get the Sancho deal done at some stage. It's just negotiation at this stage. Zach said, doesn't matter if it's coming home. We'll all be singing it. Yeah, we will be, man. You know what I mean? We'll be singing it, man. It's going to... I'm looking forward to the Euros. I have to admit, I wasn't that hyped up about it. I haven't really got in the mood. I haven't watched many programs about it or anything. But listen, the fact it's here tomorrow, and once I start watching games and goals and there's going to be some fans in the stadium, I'm really going to get hyped up for it. And you know what? When I watch England games like qualifiers or friendlies, I have no interest in watching it. But when it's the tournament, I do get drawn into it. I suddenly start to think it is coming home. But do I think it's coming home this year? Probably not. But we will go more in depth about it tomorrow. Man said, Vindaloo. Yeah, we'll be singing it all, man. You know what I mean? Listen, people, not much else going off with Arsenal today. That's pretty much all of it. Ian said, Big C, the energy on your channel is awesome. You talk 100% sense, bro. Listen, people won't always agree with you. I've got no problem with that. That's football. Football is an opinions game. Disagreements, as long as we keep it respectful, I've got no problem if people disagree. And here's Fran in the chat as well. Just got back from the tattooist. Hope we're all good and can't wait for tomorrow. Make sure you go and subscribe. He's changed the name of his channel now to FFTV, just to make it easier for people to find. Forever Football TV, former pro footballer. He'll be on here tomorrow. You've seen him many times after the games come on and do the reaction. 2 o'clock tomorrow. We'll be doing a little bit of Arsenal news at the start, and then we'll have a full-on Euros preview. Who's going to win it? Who's going to be the top scorer? As I said, link in the description below for the European Fantasy League. If you want to join the league, get your team in before tomorrow. I think they give you 100 million and you have to pick a squad of 15. I'd spent about 50 million before I even picked the 3 strikers. So it's not easy to pick. Get in there. There's about 150 of you in there so far. Join that. Man is saying, Fran, you covered up your Granit Xhaka tattoo. Oh, dear. Jack said, I'm a Chelsea supporter and I love this channel. 100% class. Thank you very much, Jack. 1986 Arsenal Gunners. Thank you for the super chat, bro. Said, we need to raid the French league. Tons of talent. Going for Camavinga, Awar, Botman, Silic. Solidify the midfield and back then up top. Yeah, listen, there are a lot of players in the French league that are available for cheap. The club outside of PSG, most teams in France are in financial difficulty because Canal Plus pulled out the money that they were supposed to be paying clubs once the French league was cancelled last January. So a lot of these clubs, Camavinga's being linked with Dortmund and Bayern Munich. Awar, I think, is available, but I think he wants Champions League. Botman's decent. He was linked with Liverpool in January, and Salic, we've been linked with him, the right back from Lille. Just finally, let's see what else you got to say. Paulo Fonseca to Tottenham. I mean, life comes at you fast, man. They had Toby singing Antonio, Antonio, Antonio. Ends up with Paulo Fonseca. Imagine sacking Jose Mourinho. He goes and gets the Roma job. Roma sacked Paulo Fonseca because he flopped in Italy at Roma. And Tottenham go and appoint Paulo Fonseca. I mean, it's so Spursy. It's unbelievable. I got to admit, North London in general is in the mud right now. It's an absolute state. You know, it's crazy what's going off at Tottenham and at Arsenal, really, if we're honest. But as Arsenal fans, all we can do is try and have a bit of laugh at their expense. Zach said, for an Arsenal channel, there is a lot of other fans in here. Love to see that this community can bring the fans together. Yeah, listen, I love it. We got a lot of fans from other channels in here, which I really appreciate. Great community we got here. We just got to keep building on it, and we'll keep going. As I said, check out the video I did with Saeed. Go and check that one out earlier. Get back here again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Me and Forever Football with Francis Green. And 7:30 tomorrow night, live watch along Turkey against Italy. Enjoy the rest of your day, people. Smash a like on the video. Can we hit 1,000 likes again? Enjoy your day. Subscribe to the channel. Take care. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Bless.